Well, Bricks 2.2 is officially in alpha and we are rocking with it. And so what I thought I would do is do a new video that shows you how to set it up literally from scratch. You haven't installed anything. You've just logged into your control panel and we're going to take it from there. Real quick before I get started in that though, I do want to say that this is the first video I've done in a couple of months now. I took a break away to finish off site boards. I'm really appreciative that you guys hung out with me. Consider this video a new re-kickoff into the Bricks world, and I'll be releasing content now, continually again. We've got a big announcement coming out for Bricks FX this week, next week, whatever. And, we're going to be refocusing on Bricks Bits also. However, let's get to this setup. It's pretty different than it used to be, but not too bad, not too bad. All right, let's get started. So here we are in our control panel, plugins. I have two, but I've deactivated them. That goes in by default. I'm on Cloudways. So the very first thing we're going to do, keeping in mind that Bricks is not a plugin, it is a theme. So we're going to install it. We will upload it, choose the file. From there, we're going to install the zip file 2.2. Here we go. Install now. All right. And now it's installed and we can go ahead and activate it. Now, the very first thing you're going to want to do is activate your license. I'm going to go ahead and do this. So we paste in our license. We click activate and boom. There's the license installed. Next, we're going to go to the custom code. Now, don't get all freaked out. All this is saying is, do you want to enable custom code? The answer is yeah, you bloody well do. But really, you just need it for the administrator. It's for you. It's for you so that you can use custom code, all right? And we'll go ahead and save that. And that's basically all you need to do here. But one thing I want you to do, always do this, go back to your themes and take the minute to click each one and delete them. This is the number one way that hackers can get into WordPress sites, is people leave these old ass things. They find a way in. You don't need a theme that you're not using, so get rid of it. All right, now they're all gone. I only got Bricks. We're up and rocking, right? Not quite. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to go over to settings and we're going to go to reading. I believe it is. I always get this wrong. Right. I always do this backwards too. First thing we're going to do is add a page. And that page we're going to call homepage. Because unfortunately, WordPress is still a blogging thing, even though if you're blogging in 2026, you've got bigger problems than how to install Bricks. So here we go. We're back. We now have that home page. And the reason that we have the home page is so we can go under settings, go under reading. So here, all you're going to do is you're going to select it's a static page and you're going to choose home page as your main home page. And you're going to click save changes. And that's basically it. Now, when I go to visit the site, boom, I get my home page because it's not going to that silly, default thing. So now we're ready to start using Bricks. But first, we got to get this page open in Bricks. So that's pretty basic. We're just going to go to pages, go to all pages, go to your home page, and click edit with Bricks. Now, here's where stuff gets a little different. So as many of you know, I released a framework called Brick Styler, and that competed with, Core Framework and Advanced Themer had a framework. Some people are still using ACSS. There's lots of frameworks out there. Pretty much all of them, my own included, not needed anymore. But it is important that you set this up right. And I'm not going to tell you exactly why yet. I'm going to tell you to do it as I do it, and then I'll explain why in the end, because it's really important, and I want you to see how basic it is, okay? So let's get started. So the first thing that we have to do now is we have to set up our theme style, right? And our theme style is in here. This has changed quite a bit. And in the past, this is where we would start. We would go in and we would tell it, oh, okay, well, for our theme style, we would, create a name. First thing, I would just call mine main. No real reason. So now I've got this theme style, and I would start to go in and give it values. The difference now, though, is that because the framework's kind of built in, you kind of got to set the framework up first. Super easy. Here's what I want you to do, all right? Okay, we're going to skip over classes and variables because we don't need them just yet. We are going to go to colors, and what I want you to do is click Add a Color Palette, and you call it whatever you want, We'll call it custom. Doesn't really matter. And we're going to create our first color. Your first color should always be primary, not with a capital though, because I'm an idiot. Okay? Should always be called primary. Primary is your first color, secondary is your second color. Just do it. I'll explain why later, but for now, let's just do it. And we're going to choose a color. And I have to admit, I found this a little confusing. It was very easy to leave this page without actually saving it. That is not actually saved yet. Even if you click save, you have to click add color. Now that you've done that, now you can save the thing and it'll actually save the color. By the way, while you're here, go ahead and create your lights, your darks, and your transparencies. You always need those, all right? Now, it's doing 10 by default. Personally, I feel that's a lot, However, you pick the number you want. Do at least have 6, though. And you have to type this number. There's no up and down arrow. However, you can use your up and down arrows. So if you want to, kind of go like that. But for now, let's just leave it at 10. We're good. All right. So we have a primary. And I think, you can kind of see it here. You can see it says primary-L-7. And down here, it'll be primary-D.7. It's light-7, or dark- you get the idea, right? With the light, primary light 1 being darker than primary light 10. So in other words, the higher the number, the more intense the effect, be it light and or dark. Okay. We're not going to get into the dark modes in this video because it just doesn't really matter, and I'm trying to just show you how to set this up. So let's go ahead and save that. And now we've got our primary color. Next thing we need is our typography. This is great because you really got to do nothing. You're going to click Create. It's going to say text by default. Leave it at text. I don't care if you think you're clever and you're going to do, I like it to say Billy text. Leave it at text. And in just a second, I'm going to explain why. All right. So we're going to leave it at that. And you can have as many steps as you want. Personally, I find 2XL is not enough. So I do like to add a third with 3XL. And to be very honest, I use a calc a lot of the times where I'll just calculate 3XL times 1.5 and make really big text, right? But for now, doesn't matter. I say leave all this stuff by default, except for maybe, and this is kind of my own personal, I find 1.3 not quite enough. And all this is this size here is just this number times 1.3. Okay, so each step up is 1.3 times what the previous was. Well, I like my steps to be a little bit bigger, so I usually go like an augmented fourth. I find either you want big text or you want little text. You don't need little micro steps in between, right? So there's your text. Next is your spacing. We will go to spacing. We will create spacing, and again, leave it. Leave it the way it is, other than, your steps and such, but leave the naming. With space M being your middle, same with text. Text M, space M, and I'm going to show you this in real world in a second. So now that we've kind of done the color, the typography, and the spacing, and we've just left it the way it is out of the box, I'll tell you why we did it that way. We did it because if you're ever going to use any templates, be it for my site, BricksBits, or Brixies, or any of the 1,000 other bricks template sites there are out there, they're going to use a couple of different frameworks because you need consistency. If I do a template, I need it to be able to say, okay, well, we need space M on the sides, or I need to be able to call up your spacing so that it matches with the rest of your site. That's why I can't just go in and say, oh, this is, 20 pixels spacing, or no, I go in and I say, this is space M. So I do my own, based off of core framework. I built Brick Styler to basically share the same, keywords, but honestly, they almost all share the same word. So if you use the out-of-the-box naming that they used in Bricks, you're going to be able to use anybody's templates, and I would just use the core framework version of it. Simple as that. Because they're the same wording. It's called space L, space XS. You get the idea, all right? So now that that's done, and you could paste in your framework, and yeah, if you use Brick Styler, you could. I really don't see a need for it. You shouldn't be using utility classes. There is some reasons for it, but it's way advanced, and let's not get into it right now. For the most part, let's not worry about it, all right? The last thing to double check here is the 62.5 or the 100%. Leave it at 62.5. The whole reason for this is 1 rem equals 10 pixels. That's all you need to know. And if you don't do that, then if you do the 100%, then 1 rem, as you go, they actually say it here. I didn't even notice that. 1 rem equals 16 pixels, which it throws your math off. Rems are awesome. And then the last thing you could do is your max screen width here. Honestly, I leave it at default 1440. It's pretty much standard now. Good. So we're done, right? Yep. We're done with this part, but now we actually have to set up the actual theme style, okay? This main theme style that we created. It's super easy. By default, it's going to be the entire site. There's really only 1 or 2 things you need to set up here. Now, you can set up as detailed as you want, but for the most part, here's what you need to do. In your section, you're going to come down here and you're going to adjust your padding, because each section is going to have a container inside, right? And you're going to want the paddings to be the same throughout the whole bloody site. So what I do is I go space, and I noticed this earlier. Sometimes it comes up with the variables and sometimes it doesn't, and it's really stupid. I'm not impressed with them on this. I hope that they go back to the drawing board a little. So, but let's just go space. Now, again, you have mixed results with typing in. So I put a big space at the top and the bottom of my section so that the container has some room, right? Thing is, we don't want our containers to touch the sides of the screen either. So what we do is we put in a space dash, and I'll scroll down here and we'll go space M. And so you can just press this and it'll link the 2 sides, that helps. There's still some wonky shit in this. I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, really, who's gonna use this layout? Is this helping anybody by leaving this in? Like, sometimes Bricks is not forward thinking, or it gets too forward thinking. I don't know what it is, but whatever. Here we are. So we've got it. We've got our spacing. That's good. We've got our fonts. That's good also. If you wanted to, this is a good time to go in and set your typography. You could see that your font size is set, but you could set, your font size here. Let's say you wanted to have, text 2XL or whatever you wanted your font sizes to be. But honestly, I don't really usually bother with that because I put my font sizes on the class level, right? So that's all done now. And that is basically it. You are set up and ready to run, my friend. So let's go ahead and give it a test. We're going to go Control-Shift-E although I'm using kind of a hacked Mac keyboard thing here, it's actually Command-Shift-E, or I'm pretty sure it's Control-Shift-E on PC, if I remember correctly. And that allows you to insert an element. So Control-Shift-E, and we'll type in what we want, and we want a section. So SEC, tab, and enter, and there's your section and your container. And let's just go Control-Shift-E again. We'll do a heading, and Control-Shift-E again, and we will do basic text. Okay, so now we have our stuff, the basic text, the heading, all that. I tell you what, let's quickly go in here. We'll set our color just by choosing our color palette. We'll say, okay, that's the primary color. And for this container, I am going to quickly set a background color. We'll again go to our background color picker. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. That's great. So there we go. We got some text on the page. We've got it in a box. Let's go ahead and check out the page and make sure that everything's working the way that we would expect it to. And we see that, yes, we've got our sides. And I just call up the helper here, and we will go into right here. Allows you to see your mobile. So if you click this, it goes mobile, and you can kind of drag. Now, as you see, because we put that padding on the section, the container will never touch up again. That's why I set the background color so you can see that, okay? Now, the great thing is you don't have the padding on the container because you might need an image or whatever to line up on the side. So what I always do is I leave the container, and, in something like this, I would have actually I'm going to hold down Shift and select these two things, and I'd right click and go wrap it in a block so that this block here, I can go ahead and add some padding. And I'll go ahead and say padding all the way around. I would normally always do this. Now, here's one thing I don't like, and I'm not a fan. I'm going to click variables, and I have no idea what's going to come up. See, this time it came up with spacing. Well, that's really great. Okay, let's go spacing M all the way around. Super, right? That works good. But when I come over here to typography, and there's no excuse for this because they literally have our setting the variables here so they can tell that, hey, that's a typography, that's a spacing. Then why not have these pickers be aware? That's one thing that's really burning my butt, because I tell you, I would not need, advanced theme or core framing. Any of those are so close to being totally obsolete. And it just needs these couple little replacements. And that part kind of drives me nuts. But, you just got to be used to it. So here with font size, I'm going to click variable and see my spacing comes up. And yeah, I can go into typography and I can say, oh yeah, well, I can choose my font size, whatever. I'm just showing you how the picker works. But here's the thing. So let's say, I choose my variable font size. When I go back to choose here, it's not spacing. It's whatever this menu was open to last time. And for that reason, I say, don't even use it. Just use dash, or you don't even need dash for the most part. If it's a space, SPA, and then you go down to what you want. There you go. You want an XL on the bottom, whatever. Takes a couple of seconds. By now you should probably know how to use the keyboard. Other than that, that's it, man. That's right from not anything installed right through to it's installed. Now, as I was saying, it's been a minute since I did some bricks content. This is just the start of a whole new run, and hopefully you'll join me. Like, subscribe, do whatever. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.